Do you agree? What do you think the appropriate role is of the president of the UUA in furthering our social justice work? And Elise will speak first in this round.
I think that social justice is definitely the heart of many of our Unitarian Universalist congregations. I had the opportunity to ride up here this morning with Richard Speck and his wife Janet Tillman. We all live in Wilmington. And we were talking about social justice, and I have to paraphrase what Richard said, is that social justice has to be based on our theology in Unitarian Universalism and our values. To do social justice work, just for social justice work, is not what we would do as Unitarian Universalists. It has to be able to be based on our values. And I think that we do a pretty good job of it. We're working through it. There are so many social justice issues that face us. And I think that the UUA board needs to look at them, and when we talk about policy governance and we talk about boring and mundane things like ends policies, and what our goals are, these are the things that we need to talk to our individual congregations about and find out what social justice issues, which ones are in the forefront of what's happening in our Unitarian Universalist congregations. What are the ones that speak to us the most and that we can live out our values with? And so I think that the UUA board needs to do a lot of work in speaking and dialoguing with congregations about that. But we can't ignore the social justice issues around us. And so I think that it's something that we all have to work on. Some of our congregations do a better job than others about it, and I'm sure some of you see that. You guys are in an area of the DC and the Beltway, and are incredibly active in social justice issues. Some of our other congregations not so much in other areas of our district or even geographically around the nation. And so we have to find a way of working that into what we do as a denomination, and as a UUA board, we need to be talking to them.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'll repeat the question. Many UUs believe that social justice is the heart of UUism. Do you agree? What do you think the appropriate role of the UUA president is in furthering our social justice work?
Thank you. It was the second piece, the role of the UUA president. I wanted to get that. That has come up a bit. I think that, well, we're definitely a social justice oriented denomination. I think that's always been what put us out there in the public light. I think that's what really inspires us. Even as we are committed to the arts and to worship, there is that, our theological grounding is in the idea that the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and looking to the future and inclusive community. And I think that the question of what exactly the role of the president is a good one to be asking as we look at also policy governance and people asking the question of how does this change the way that the president functions, especially with respect to communication with the board and the establishment of different roles and responsibilities. I think the value of the president does not disappear. I think the power of the president doesn't disappear. Well, for me, I always compare Peter Morales to the hype man, you know, in HYPE. And rap, there's a hype man who comes on stage and kind of gets the crowd pumped up and reminds people of the message that the rapper is trying to convey and gets the energy behind it. And for me, he's someone who would disseminate the message of the collective values and goals of our denomination and really put that forward to our entire faith community, but also to communicate who we are to the world. And the more powerfully he can communicate that message, the more clarity that he can bring to our vision, the better we will be. And I don't think that, I mean, that's a job that is one for our entire denomination, congregations, leadership, as well as the president. but I don't think that there's any doubt that we are committed to social justice, and I don't think that there is any question that the president's role will remain very much the same in terms of promoting our social justice vision as it has been in the past, regardless of our governance model.
Our Judeo-Christian roots are in justice. And Peter and Ginny both have roles. Peter, as you know, went down to Arizona to give witness to what the congregations in Arizona are facing with immigration. To personally hear and to experience the injustice that's happening, and then to eloquently speak back and say, when I was arrested, this is what happened to me. When we can get to the point where it says, this is what happened to me, then we are involved. And people can relate to that and are transformed. Our congregation went to Philadelphia, and we attended, a racial, conference on diversity and being more multicultural. And we heard Ginny speak. Goodloe Memorial has a scholarship for Don Speed Smith Goodloe, the first African American who graduated from Meadville Seminary School 100 years ago. And so why did a black man want to graduate from a Unitarian seminary when he knew he would not be a minister in a white congregation? He became president of a normal school to teach African American students at Bowie State. We are there offering the scholarship to help students at Bowie State. And Ginny, we asked her, could you come and speak? And we had 10, a dozen other congregations come to hear Ginny speak about building more multicultural communities and supporting a historically black university. So both of them will take their time to go and work on social justice issues, and that's the leadership that should inspire us to also be involved. And my minister went and attended a local conference with teens and showed a video clip of a gun protest in Prince George's County, where there's a lot of illegal gun sales that end up in a horrific murder situation. The point is, there was an African American high schooler that graduated and said, I got to tell people that I was on TV for doing something good. And I got to say, and we showed that video to UUs from several states, talk about impact. If we're there, we can help.